I'm going to read from ChatGPT. And yes, I know ChatGPT can be wrong, but it is not wrong when it comes to the HIPAA Act. I literally stated, my understanding HIPAA is only to protect a person's medical. Why does this extend to the actual facility? It says, yes, your understanding is basically correct, but there's an important distinction. HIPAA is primarily about protecting a person's protected health information, PHI, not protecting the physical facility itself. The PHI, which is protected health information, includes individually identifiable information about someone's health treatment and payment for health care. Where the facility comes into it is that HIPAA places obligations on certain healthcare organizations such as the hospital, the clinics, nursing homes, pharmacies. Because they are covered entities, those organizations have to implement reasonable administration, technical, and physical safeguards to keep the PHI private. This does not extend to them telling you that your loved one cannot speak to you because of the HIPAA. They cannot speak to you because of their privacy. HIPAA is only for their medical. It breaks it down a little more. For example, the hospital itself isn't protected by HIPAA. Your medical information is protected by HIPAA. The hospital has HIPAA responsibilities because it holds a user's medical information. The facility may have privacy security procedures, restricted areas, controlled access to records, privacy screens, etc., because those measures help protect the PHI. Remember, that's that's physical facility itself. It's protected the health information. The PHI is the protected health information. HIPAA does not automatically make the entire building, everything that happens there, or every piece of information belonging to the facility confidential. It does not. It says, in fact, HHS specifically says HIPAA doesn't require hospitals to redesign their facilities, install private rooms or soundproof rooms. It requires reasonable safeguards to prevent improper disclosure of the PHI. One important distinction: if you're asking because a facility is telling you we can't give you the information because of HIPAA, that's a different question. HIPAA can restrict what the facility may disclose about a patient, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the facility itself has a blanket right to withhold the information. I was calling for my sister. I was not caring about her care. I wanted to speak to my sister. I even told them that. I even explained them that I was calling to talk to my sister. I didn't need to know her care. I needed to hear my sister's voice. But I was still denied to talk to her. It was, if you tell me exactly what the information the facility is saying HIPAA prevents you from getting, I can break it down whether the HIPAA actually applies to that situation. And I said, my sister is in care of a facility and will not allow me to just speak to her. They are acting like she isn't there and only taking my number and name and stating they will give it to her. ChatGPT said, that changes the situation quite a bit. If your sister is actually at the healthcare facility and you're simply asking to speak with her, HIPAA by its generally is not a reason for a facility to refuse connect your call. They cannot refuse you to be able to talk to your loved one. HIPAA protects her medical information. It does not mean the facility has to prevent family members from calling or visiting. The HHS specifically states that HIPAA does not stop calls or visits by family and friends. There are, however, some important expectations. Your sister may have requested that, which I know my sister would not. My sister is not famous. She doesn't do anything but work from home. She stays at home. She keeps to herself. That is not a person that would want to... Nobody's going to know she's there but the person who took her there. She needed no reason to be private. There could be a court order. I know there's no court order. There's no guardianship restriction, safety concerns, or facility-specific visitations, communication policies. There should be none of that in place. If she's in a particularly secure type of facility, additional rules may apply, which I do understand that. I do understand that most facilities have guidelines, but they still have to let you talk to your loved one. They still have to verify that she's there, because she's not in a battered situation. I know she's a single woman, so she is not in any danger. I would understand if she had a protective order, or she was in what's it called? Something protection. Witness protection. She's not. She is a single woman. She was just going to the hospital because she had a migraine headache. There is no reason for her to not be able to talk to me or want to talk to me. She knows I'm in 9 hours away from her. We've been talking pretty much every day since I've been here. This is such a frustration. If you are working at a hospital and you are in administration, you need to make sure your people understand what HIPAA really means, because what I'm going through, nobody should be going through. Nobody should be going through not being able to talk to their loved one and they know that she's not in a safe place. They should be able to know and be assured that they are getting the care that they need and they are safe. And that I am not in that position right now. And I'm really heartbroken. And I've worked for the healthcare. I got out of it because I seen things that were not right, how they were handling people and conducting themselves. This is not right. This is totally not right. So please, I beg you guys, understand the HIPAA. Please stop letting your loved ones go to the hospital by themselves, because they're not safe anymore. They are literally not safe anymore. I love y'all. Have a good night.